Hey everybody, it's episode 389 of PodQuest.
Hey!
It's Wednesday, January 26th, 2022. I am Chris. With me is Druten.
Hello.
And Walnut.
What's up?
How's everybody doing tonight?
Oh, it's a night.
Yeah. I mean, Rich, you didn't come on having a near meltdown, so
No.
I assume your day's going better.
I mean, better for the most part. A little BTS for the Sweeten family. My father was getting back surgery starting at 2 o'clock today. So,
Oh, is he alright?
he's had back pains for a few weeks, months now. And he finally reached it. Like, he was going through the processes that insurance forces people to go through of, let's do this step, then that step, then this step. And he was getting to the point of going to physical therapy. And he just reached his limit of pain. And so my mom brought him to the hospital on Monday. And then he had been there. Was it Monday? Yeah, it was Monday that she brought him. I think it was. Yeah, Monday she brought him, and he'd been there since Monday. And they set him up for surgery today. He's got like some what's the word? Like cracked discs and shit. Like his back's always been really fucked for at least 10, 15 years. He's had some back surgery.
Oh, has he really?
Yeah, but we're probably going to look into getting him onto that medical ganja to help with his pain.
Yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, my dad also, his back is just destroyed from what he did for a living.
Mm-hmm.
He should have had surgery about a decade before they finally approved it.
Yeah.
And when they finally approved it, they would only approve, like, the most invasive option.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, they have, like, the really, like, cool futuristic shit where they basically just, like, stick, like, a laser and a water gun inside of your back and, like, real tiny little incisions and just sort of, like, obliterate all the bad stuff.
Yeah.
For him, they only approved basically cutting, like, a 10-inch hole in his back and doing, like, the metal rods and shit and all that.
Yeah.
But they waited so long to the point where, like, he just had permanent nerve damage. Like, he had that surgery in, I want to say, early 2011. And his back is worse than it's ever been. He got a little bit better for a couple of years, but the damage was already too bad to get better. But he got on medical marijuana, and he is on far fewer prescription painkillers than he was prior to getting it.
Same with Sarah's dad and his back.
Yeah, and
like,
my dad, we had like a family gathering Saturday, and it was at a restaurant, and he couldn't sit down. That's how bad it was. And I was asking him what's going on and what hurts. And he was showing me, it's like for a little bit above his like the left side of his butt, like where like sciatica pain mostly, but like a little bit above the left side of his butt, all the way down to like his upper thigh.
Yeah, no, and hopefully he's getting surgery soon enough, because that's basically what my dad's problem was, and it went so long that, like I said, it's just permanent nerve damage at this point, because your body's so weird, like, bad back stuff ends up impacting, like, the nerves in your legs really bad. Yes. But yeah, like, he will almost 100% get approved for medical marijuana, and, like, that, it seems to help with backs a lot. Yeah, I mean, even Drew said it was helping Sarah's dad.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the only reason why I'm not, like, super stressed is, I mean, I am a little stressed.
I was gonna say, that's like
I am a little stressed, but it's, like, that's why when it came to work, I was just like, fuck it. When I was potentially gonna have to work, I was like, no, that's not work. I'm just not gonna do it.
Remind me next time I see your dad to let him know that the 1 week you weren't stressed was the week that he was having surgery.
Sure,
what an asshole.
I'll remind you.
But, I mean, we wish him all the best, because, like, your dad's a nice guy.
Yep.
Yeah, he should be home later, probably tomorrow or later this week. I'll be seeing him at the latest on Saturday, bringing my mom food shopping and stuff.
Oh, well, I mean, honestly, if he's going to be out of the hospital that quickly, like, hopefully that means it's a pretty limitedly invasive surgery.
I mean, I'm assuming it's within the next couple of days. I don't really know. He went to the hospital, and then they were gonna discharge him yesterday, and he's, like, the meds started to wear off, and his pain was coming back full force. And so they were like, alright, let's get more tests done, and surgery. It was just out of nowhere. My mom texted me this morning, your dad's getting surgery.
Which, I mean, hey, at least they didn't make him leave the hospital in pain to come back and do surgery later.
Yeah, thank God.
Hopefully, like, he's got, like, a good doctor, too, because...
He went to Virtua. He got a good...
I mean, look, you never know.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I don't know. I guess what's on the agenda tonight, Rich?
On the agenda, I guess we can quickly talk about one thing we were talking about before we got into the show, boss rushes. And then, I guess Cobb has a disappointing surprise for us? Or somebody does, I don't really know.
No, that's me. I'm the only one that types in this document.
Yeah. And then finally, after weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks of me trying to bring up a discussion on Orcs Must Die 3, we're finally going to get to talk about it.
If time allows.
If time allows. It's number 3 on the list.
You never know. Whatever the surprises could take
you have
hours.
no idea what my surprise is.
And then there's talk about Respawn and some Star Wars games, which I only saw a little bit of. And Cobb, you watched Peacemaker, and I completely forgot to watch the intro sequence.
Watch it real quick.
It's 90 seconds. Watch it.
Yeah, just bring it up and watch it.
Yes, I will do that now.
So for anyone that hasn't seen it, Peacemaker, it's the Drew is writing "if time allows" onto the document. So Peacemaker is the HBO Max show, and it may have one of the best intros to a show.
It's really good.
We'll talk about it more once we're actually talking about Peacemaker, but I knew that it had an intro like that. Like I didn't know what the intro was, but I knew it was something along those lines because I'd seen like chatter about it. But when it kicked in the first episode, I was not expecting it, and it's very good.
Yeah, this is beautiful.
This is beautiful.
Like, that show is worth watching for the intro alone.
I didn't know Robert Patrick was in that show.
Oh yeah, he plays Peacemaker's dad.
Who's Robert Patrick?
The T-1000.
The T-1000.
Okay.
He was also replaced Mulder Mulder in the X-Files for like 2 seasons or whatever it was.
Right, he was in like the last 2 seasons of X-Files.
Yep.
I think he was in one of the movies too.
I'm almost certain he was. Probably the first one.
Well, no, because the first one, Mulder was still in it.
I mean, he was probably also in there, though.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure that movie came out, like, after the seasons he was in. I think that movie brought back Mulder.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the movie was after the series wrapped up, and Mulder was in the movie, I believe.
He's definitely Mulder's definitely in the movie.
He's definitely in the movie, but I believe it was a movie after wrapped up.
Okay. Yes, I was never an X-Files person, so that was just one of those. I actually saw the movies, or I saw one of the movies. I think I saw the first one.
So the first movie was 98.
Which it does not look like Robert Patrick was in that one.
Oh, I would have thought he was.
And the series was 93 to 2002.
Wow, it went longer than I realized.
Yeah, that show was on for a long time.
For some reason, I thought it ended in the 90s still, but was still on for like 10 years. And it did get those 2 extra seasons in like, 2011, 2012, something like that?
Yeah.
2016 and 2018.
God damn.
That series was good.
Yeah,
I don't believe he was in any movies.
Well, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
Because Robert Patrick's a fun actor. I like him.
John Duggett. John J. Duggett. He started in season 8. And Scully wasn't even in season 9. It was Monica. So that's where, things were.
Oh, yeah, no, I do remember that, like, being in the news and all. But Rich, do you want to talk some more about these boss rushes that you're bad at?
Yes. I'm not bad at them, but, we were talking before we started recording, we were talking about, I played on my stream some more Hollow Knight, and I was saying, fuck the Radiance. That's the worst boss fight in the world. Because it's all RNG based, and I was going to try to do the path of the Ultimate Radiance, I believe is what it is. But there's a boss rush. It's 5 different sets of boss rushes, and each set has like 10 bosses in it. It's nuts. That's how many bosses are in that game. Seriously, 50 fucking bosses.
That's too many bosses.
That's a lot of bosses.
Too many bosses.
So we got to talking about that, and then we got into talking about Mega Man and how Mega Man 1's boss rush is absolute fucking garbage compared to any other Mega Man boss rush, because Mega Man does boss rushes right besides Mega Man 1. And Cobb, I think you were saying that all boss rushes are bad, or at least all Mega Man boss rushes are bad?
No, just in general, boss rushes are bad, and I actually had forgotten that Mega Man 1 boss rushes were different from later games.
Yeah,
but they're still objectively bad.
Yeah.
And
I mean, so here's the reasons why the other Mega Man boss rushes are not as bad as the Mega Man 1 boss. And it's, number one, they give you that little break zone and a healing area, and number two, the powers in Mega Man 2 don't suck as much as the powers in Mega Man. Mega Man 1 abilities are absolute garbage.
Well, I mean, Mega Man 1 is a bad game.
I mean, yeah, it really is. It really,
that series peaked with Mega Man 2.
It really blows my mind that they have gotten 10 games plus
11.
the Mega Man, or is it 11 Mega Man games plus Mega Man X plus Mega Man 11? Like, it so blows my mind that they got so much out of Mega Man, which is, yeah, it's not that good of a game. I was telling you guys on my stream when I played last Thursday, I played for 3 hours. Took me an hour to get into Wily's Castle. Took me 2 hours to beat Wily's Castle.
I mean, but I looked it up after you said that. How long to beat? That's a 3-hour game.
Yeah, but like the 6 bosses shouldn't be only an hour of the game. The 6 bosses should be 6/7 of the game, or well, not even that, but like it should be maybe 2 hours to kill the bosses and an hour for the fucking Wily Castle.
Man, I don't know how long you think the Mega Man games are, but they are really not very long. Like Mega Man 2, I've definitely beaten the bosses in Mega Man 2 in less than 30 minutes.
No, but that's the thing. Like, especially with Mega Man 1, when there's 6 bosses and you're giving me a 3-hour game, but the main brunt of the game is the Wily Castle, and like some of the fucking goo monster in Mega Man 1 was just so bad because like the time it's a shitty retro game. Like, they're made to be replayed and for pattern recognition because that's all people had back then.
Do you know how to cheese that game a little bit, especially like
the pause? You use Elect Man and you use the pause, but like I'm playing the Legacy Edition on Steam, and my pause button didn't seem to always work anytime I was trying it. For instance, when I killed Flame Man during the boss rush, after I killed him, I would not be able to go into the pause menu to switch to my next ability until all of his orbs are no longer on the screen.
Huh. So I'm just kind of looking at how long to beat. Basically, every Mega Man game, including most of the X's, are only like 3 to 5 hour games.
Yeah.
Which I didn't, for some reason, I legitimately thought that some of the later ones, like 4 and on, and the X games especially, were, not significantly, but just longer. But no, I was quite wrong.
Yeah, I mean, 4 to 5 hours seems reasonable, especially since, like, I do understand, like, the thinking it might have been longer, especially, like, the PlayStation era, Mega Man, 6 and 7. But, yeah, they've never really been long games, and I know that for a fact. It's, to me, the fact that a game is 3 hours long, but two of the 3 hours is the same level, and you don't really advance your character much during that level. Like,
but, again, like, the only 2 good Mega Man games are 2 and 3, so those games actually, they play better. And Wily's Castle in both of those are both more challenging and a little more diverse.
Yeah. I mean, well, I've only ever played Mega Man 1, 2, and then, like, the PlayStation eras, really. Maybe it was, like, Mega Man 1, 2, and 6, or 7. Like, that's really it.
6 was a bad one.
I haven't played them. Which one had the kickball?
That was 7. So you would have played 7 and 8, because 6 was actually the last one on the NES.
Yep. Yeah, so I've only played Mega Man 1, 2, and then 7, and then a bunch of the X's, and then the remakes of Mega Man 1, when they did that on the PSP, as well as, like, Legends and some other things. So, like, I can't really comment on good or bad, plus it's just been so long that I can't fully remember them. Like, I have memories of Snake Man, which is Mega Man 3, because I believe that's the only Mega Man we had back when we had an NES. And, like, I have memories of Snake Man all the time and nostalgia for Snake, but that's it. But when it comes to fucking Mega Man 1, like, so Cutman is weak to Gutsman, right? Yeah. When you get into the boss rush for Cutman, there are no bricks to throw at Cutman. So you don't even get to use his strength against him.
Oh, that's funny.
Which, it's bullshit. So, like, and it starts Cutman first, and then, who was after Cutman during the boss rush? Cutman, and then someone I can't remember, because then at the last it goes, I think it's Cutman, then Electman. Yeah, Cutman and Electman, first and second. And then it takes you to fight Dark Mega Man, or Anti-Mega Man, whatever you want to call it. And then there's another 2 levels in Wily's Castle, with 2 bosses, before you get back to the boss rush, which starts with a whole level that you have to do before you even get to fighting the bosses. And then it starts with, let's see, who was it next? Because we had Cutman, Electman, and then we would have Bombman, who's weak to Cutman, Fireman, who's weak to Iceman, Iceman, who's weak to Electman, and then Gutsman, who's weak to Bombman. But Bombman's ability is worse than Gutsman's ability, because it doesn't blow up right away. It sits there. And Gutsman, he does nothing but jumps the entire time. So you have to be able to time your jump properly and move around while jumping to avoid from being stun locked on his jump. And on top of that, Fireman just doesn't stop shooting. And you cannot dodge his abilities at all. It was the worst fucking thing in the world. I'm like, I can't understand how this game has gotten 30 games made after it.
Yeah. I think it's funny that, and a lot of it has to do with the cartoon.
Yeah.
But I feel like Mega Man 1 has I don't want to say more iconic Robot Masters, but just like the ones that, like, if you ask to name a Robot Master, you're probably saying Cutsman or Gutsman.
Yeah.
Versus, like, Mega Man 2 and 3 are the better games, and, like, I know them because I've played them a bunch, but, like, I feel like they're not as in, like, the gaming lexicon as the Mega Man 1 Robot Master.
See, my problem is with Mega Man 2 to Mega Man 1, some of the Mega Man 2 Robot Master designs are just stupid as fuck. Flame Man is a fucking lighter.
Man, if you think the Mega Man 2 Robot Masters are bad,
yeah, man.
Like, they really started to run out after they got to 4.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, Mega Man 1 had some cool designs for Robot Masters, but, like, just flawed gameplay and design. And when they did the remake, they remade everything about it, and that was actually a good game. They even added 2 bosses into it as well. They added Oil Man, and I can't remember who the other one was. But, like, it also rearranged who was weak to what. Because then Fireman was strong against Oil Man instead of Iceman.
Makes sense.
Fireman was strong against Man. I got that wrong. It's Cutman is strong against Electman. Electman is strong against Iceman. Iceman is strong against Fireman. Fireman is strong against Bombman. Bombman is strong against Guts. Because fire lights the bombs on fire and blows them up.
Also, to your point about the Mega Man 2 bosses, like, literally they did Fire and Flame Man in the first 2 games. It's like, oh shit, we've run out of ideas already. We need Fire again. Do Fire again. Let's go.
Isn't there an Iceman in Mega Man 2 as well?
No.
Or no, it's Bubble Man. Fucking Bubble Man. And then on top of that, you've got Quickman, who's, Quickman, whose ability, or whose weakness is Crashman, because he can't stand still. And so you use Crashman, which stops time, and takes his health to halfway.
That's Flashman. Stops time.
Oh,
Crashman is the boss.
Stops time. Okay, yeah. It's so, like, Heatman's design is so
Mega Man
bad.
6 has a Tomahawk Man, a Night Man, like, with a K, and also it has another Flame Man.
Another Flame Man?
Yeah, like, literally the character is just called Flame Man. But it is not the Mega Man 1 Flame Man.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, like, past Mega Man 3, the main series, they ran out of fucking ideas.
Well, Mega Man 2 is Flame Man. Mega Man 1 is Fireman. So...
Right. I always get them swapped. Yeah. But still, there's another Flame Man in Mega Man 6.
Well, I guess Fire is really hard to create a Robot Master. But yeah, boss rushes, man. Mega Man does it right. Hollow Knight doesn't. There's too many bosses. 50 fucking bosses in that game.
Boss rushes are kind of like escort missions. Nobody likes them. Nobody wants to do them. Developers keep making them.
Yeah. Luckily, with Hollow Knight, it's not mandatory. Like, that's side shit. That was like, hey, here's DLC if you want to keep playing this game, and that's it.
Which, like, that is at least good. And, you're not wrong. Like, as far as boss rushes go, most Mega Man games actually do them right, you know. There's a limited number of bosses past the first game. You do get to decide what order to take them out in. I don't know if it was Mega Man 2 or not, but one of them you do get an energy pellet after each boss.
I'm
it
not
might have
sure.
been 3.
My memory mostly is of 7, and where you have to pick when you take the energy, because if you take it too soon, you're not going to get it anymore. If you take it, you're not going to take it too late because you're going to die. But I believe also in most of them, if you die, you only have to restart the boss rush if you get a game over, not if you die.
Well, in the original Mega Man's 2, you don't collect the health pellets. They're just there to get and heal yourself.
Yeah.
I think in 2, maybe it's 3, you get an item that you can use to heal yourself. But I'm pretty sure the bosses in 3, during the boss rush, at least some of them give you a health pellet afterward. It's been just long enough since I've played them that I just can't remember.
I'll be probably playing Mega Man 3 next week, so I'll be playing Mega Man 2 this week and Mega Man 3
I was going to say, what the fuck are you playing Mega Man 2?
It
depends on if I decide whether or not to get Legends Arceus this week.
I'm definitely getting it. Apparently, it's good. People are enjoying it.
I'm hearing it's good, but also at the same time, I kind of want Sifu more. But what's going through my head right now is I can get Legends Arceus for the same price it's always going to be, and get Sifu when it goes on sale, because it'll definitely go on sale at some point. Or I can get Sifu at normal price, and then get Legends eventually when it never goes on sale at normal price.
I was going to say, the Pokemon game is not going to ever go on sale. So.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm leaning more towards Arceus, but I really want Sifu.
Look, they're 2 weeks apart. Get both.
Sifu is the 8th.
Yeah.
It is a little over a week and a half.
They are in 2 different week periods. They are about 2 weeks apart.
No. But maybe. We'll see. Maybe I'll get it when I get paid that Friday after Sifu releases. We'll see. But, Cobb,
how much is Sifu?
It's probably going to be... Is it 40?
Yeah, it's only a $40 game. You got this. Get them both. Treat yourself.
I was expecting it to be maybe a $60.
Yeah, no. It's 40. 20. You're saving $20. Buy them both.
I'm not saving any money if I buy it.
No, you 100% are.
No, if I buy them both, I'm not saving any money. But if I wait until the game is $30 bucks, I am saving money.
Yeah, but if you buy them both now, you will have enough games to play that you won't need to leave your house for anything. So you'll be saving money on gas.
I've got Games Pass. I already have enough games to play where I don't have to leave my house right now.
You don't.
I do. I still haven't even touched Halo. I'm going to be doing Ori and the Blind Forest next week. I've got plenty of games. And I just bought the expansion for City Skylines. I don't need to leave the house.
Why do you keep buying these expansions, man?
Because I can now make an airport.
Oh boy.
It's exciting for somebody who likes the game.
That's fair. That is fair.
Anyway, Cobb, you have a disappointing surprise for us?
I do. I guess it's more disappointing for me than it is for you guys.
Uh-huh.
So because both of you were complaining about it, I tried Hollow Knight. It was on Game Pass, so I booted it up on my computer while I was working.
Uh-huh.
I didn't like it.
Man,
it's not a bad game. I don't think it plays bad. I don't think there's anything bad about it. It's just it's not for me.
Is that really a surprise though?
No, not at all. But you kept saying you think I'd like it, and I'm not saying that just to spite you. Just it wasn't for me. I think it controlled well.
How long did you where did you get to? How long did you play for?
I played for about an hour. I got to a point where I got a magic blast when I hit B. I got a little past that.
Okay, so you don't even have the dodge. You don't even have the double jump.
No,
so
that was really annoying. Not just having a double jump. I'm going to be honest.
You got to unlock it.
No, I understand that, but yeah, it's a little floaty. I wasn't super into the platforming of it, but it wasn't bad though. It's not like it controlled poorly. I just didn't like the feel of it, which is totally different. That's preference versus programming. But it was very responsive. It looks very pretty. I thought the combat was kind of boring, but the combat felt okay. When I hit the button, I hit the enemy, so that worked. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. Like I said, I don't think I like Metroidvanias. I think I just like Metroid.
And honestly, you probably don't even really like Metroid. You just like Metroid.
No, I was, just before Metroid Dread came out, I was playing Zero Mission again. I've played Metroid, or Super Metroid several times over the last few years. I like those games for whatever reason. It might be partial nostalgia. It might just be that I have a fondness for them from playing them when I was younger. So even when the new ones come out, if they still play that way, I like them. Yeah. But also, most Metroidvanias have other aspects to them that like are more in line with like Symphony of the Night, Castlevania stuff. And I've never played Symphony of the Night. And the few times I've tried to play like the spiritual successors, like what was that fucking Bloodstained, like the actual like Bloodstained, not the Inti Creates 8-bit ones. I didn't like Bloodstained. That game was not fun at all. I tried it on Game Pass. Like, I liked it so little, I don't think I bothered talking about it because I hated every second I had with it. So yeah, I don't think I like Metroidvanias. I think I like Metroid.
Fair.
I don't agree. I don't like it. You have bad taste.
Look, I told you you'd be disappointed.
I agree with you there, Richie.
I mean, I'm not disappointed. I'm just angry. I'm not. It's disappointed. I'm just angry. Like
that's like the opposite. I'm not angry. I'm disappointed. Richie's like, no, I'm not disappointed. I'm angry.
That's exactly what it is. I'm not disappointed. I'm just angry. Angry at your bad taste in video games.
But like, I don't think it's a bad game. I actually, like I said, it controls really well. Like the aesthetically, it's really nice. The fact that the environment's actually like not fully destructible, but there's a lot of stuff that like if you're swiping your sword, you destroy it as you're going. It's nice. The light physics are also really good. Like if you cut over like a lamp or something like that, being able to watch the light kind of go with it and illuminate different things. But yeah, I thought the combat was just kind of boring and uninspired. And yeah, just
I mean, I can understand that with the combat, especially early on, because all you're doing is slashing. You don't have the dodges, you don't have the jumps, you just have the slash, really. Like, the game really opens up when you can customize your knight and choose the way you want to play it as you get more crests and unlock more abilities and the magical powers and stuff like that.
Agreed.
But I mean, I don't really use any of the magic abilities, like, at all, which might be a problem.
By the time I got to, so I guess it was like, I'm assuming he was the first boss. It was like a guy in a suit of armor that when you knocked him over, like the white bug head would come out and you would just slash away at that white bug head. And
yeah, it was a false champion.
Okay, yeah. So like by the time I got there, it was just like, all right, no, like I get this combat. It's not the way the combat is out of the gate isn't anything special. The pattern recognition, at least early on, is very easy to do. Like I died once, and it was because I literally wasn't paying attention, and it was one of the I don't know what they're called, but it's the smaller version of the boss, basically. They have like a big like sword and they'll slash down once and then occasionally they'll jump backwards and make like a little shockwave come at you.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
One of the third time I fought one of them, it killed me because I was just not paying attention to what I was doing. Yeah. I stopped, instead of jumping out of the way to try and heal because I went into the fight without enough health. I'm like, oh, I have enough time to do this real quick, and then the motherfucker just hit me with a sword. I'm just like, okay, no, I totally didn't have enough time to do that. Never mind. And I didn't realize that I hadn't been hit by them the first couple of times I fought them, so I didn't know they took 2 health from you.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just one of those like unfortunate, like, oh, well that sucks. And at that point,
do you like Celeste?
Oh yeah, Celeste is great.
Honestly, I don't know much about Celeste. I've recently seen a little bit of it.
You would absolutely hate it.
Yeah, you fucking hate every second of Celeste.
I recently, for the first time ever, saw gameplay of Celeste, and I thought the art was just fucking garbage already. But like, to me, as I'm looking at Celeste, it kind of shocks me that, like, as I'm watching somebody play Celeste through whatever part I was watching them play it through, I'm just sitting here, as you're talking about, it's like, you would definitely, if you enjoyed Celeste, you would enjoy this game when you get further in it. Like, and so it's not much further, though. It's literally the double jump and the dash, which are, like, the second 2 things you should get.
But so here's the thing. Celeste, there's no exploration, there's no enemies, there's no combat.
Mm-hmm.
It is just platforming. It is straight, figure out how to get from point A to point B without dying. And it's all just, learning how to time your double jumps and to how to, like, wall jump and cling to the walls and do, like, fancy little, like, jump out and in and over and around to, like, jump through a bunch of spikes and land on the other side and grab the wall before you run out of stamina. Whereas, like, Hollow Knight is very much in the Metroidvania of, oh yeah, there's platforming. Like, there's difficult platforming getting between, like, spikes and, I found like those worms that like shoot out of the ground and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's enemies that you also have to contend with, and boss fights, and actual exploration. And it's honestly the exploration, like, kind of gets me the most. Like, I don't want to wander around, like, not really knowing where to go or what to do until I happen to find the next map. Whereas a game like Celeste and Super Meat Boy are very similar. It's just point A to point B.
Mm-hmm.
Just figure out how to get there.
The exploration is exactly what pulled me into these. It's like going around and figuring out, can I do this? Should I be here? Trying to fight and go through areas that you're not strong enough to see if either you're going to get better or if you just go somewhere else. And, like, finding all the different locales and biomes. It's just, that's what pulls me into these types of games.
But so that's one of the same reasons why I don't think I'd like Returnal. And a lot of that, it's the backtracking. I don't want to do the same thing multiple times. And in games like that, you go the wrong way, you have to turn around, backtrack. If you go the wrong way, you run into like an enemy that's too strong, it kills you. You then get taken back to your last save and have to go through everything again. It's like, I don't want to do that at all. Like, I want to progress.
See, with Returnal, there's not a lot of backtrack. There really
But there's a lot of dying, so you're redoing biomes over and over again.
I mean, I would argue there's not a lot of dying. There's a lot of not dying.
I've seen people play that game. I would be bad at that game.
My final playthrough took me 3 hours, and I went through the 5th and 6th biome with, like, I did the 6th biome, the last level, the final boss, without dying at all. Like,
that's good job.
I had a really awesome setup. I had a really great gear setup and everything. But, like, when it comes to Returnal, like, because runs can be so long, you don't actually die that often. And once you reach each zone, there are skips for other zones. So when...
Oh, right, because you can open up, like, paths and stuff, right?
Yeah, so, like, Zone 1, you always have to go through Zone 1 to get to Zone 2 and to Zone 3. But you don't always have to go through Zone 2 to get to Zone 3. And it's the same with Zone 4, you have to go through to get to Zone 5. But once you reach Zone 5, you can go right to Zone 6 with no problem. Actually, you might not even have to go into Zone 5. You might be able to just get to the end of Zone 1, or Zone 4, and go right to Zone 6. Like, you skip the middle area, the middle zone, generally. You can skip it. And it gives you items that, like, will level you up to the level you should be at when you're starting those areas. Not like...
Okay.
Like, you're a little bit stronger if you would have gone through all of Zone 1, fought the boss, all of Zone 2, fought the boss, and then gone into Zone 3. You'd probably be stronger, quite a bit stronger, and might have a better setup and loadout. Or you could just go right to Zone 3, and it'll give you the power-ups to get you to, like, level, or whatever, I can't remember what they're called in that, like, level 7, or whatever, that you need, that's, like, the minimum you should be at when you get to the...
And, in, like, 3 or 4 years when it's, a PS Plus game, I'll totally give it a shot. I think I will be bad at it, though, which is one of those things where I expect to die a lot in a game like that, and that's not fun. Like, I want to move forward. I don't want to redo things. I don't want to have to go through even when there's shortcuts. I don't want to backtrack and redo things. And like a lot of that's what Metroidvanias are. Like, it's backtracking and redoing things. Like, I mean, even in Hollow Knight, the first section up until you beat the first boss, the only save is in like the town.
Yeah.
So if you die, you have to go all the way back up to the town and then make your way back down again. And once you've been through it a couple times, it's not that bad, but it's still kind of a hassle until you buy the map thing that lets you see where you're at on the map.
Mm-hmm.
Like that made it much easier.
I've never used that at all.
See, I use it all the time because that's my only complaint about Hollow Knight is I can never fucking tell where I'm supposed to go.
Like, I use the map. I don't use the crest that lets me know where I'm at. I know where I'm at.
Yeah, I have no, like, I've also never played it before. I know nothing about it, so...
And also, there is a bench closer to the boss than that boss. You just didn't explore enough.
So, anytime I went to an area where the map didn't fill it in, I figured I wasn't supposed to go there yet, so I would turn around, because... No,
it fills it in when you rest at a bench, because he has to write it in himself.
Oh, is that how that's supposed to work?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He fills it in if you die, too, and you come back. You hear a little scribbling and your map is then updated with everywhere you've been.
Okay, because I did buy the crest thing that lets you, or whatever it was, that lets you fill in the map, but it wasn't being filled in at all. But like I also found like a little letter on the ground from the guy that sold me the first map, who said to go to his shop to buy more maps, and they don't have any other maps to buy.
Yeah, so you have to find him in each location. And if you don't have the money to buy the map when you find him in that location, then she'll have it when you leave that time.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, so, first of all, Conifer's the man, and I want to cosplay him. And second, you will find him, you won't be able to get the map unless you find him in that location. And the little piece of paper is telling you to go find that map's location, that location's map. But also it's telling you you can buy different stamps and things like that for your maps, for your waypoints and stuff.
Okay, I mean, look, I'm not going to play any more of it, so it's kind of neither here nor there, but yeah, I don't know. Definitely not for me. I'm glad you guys enjoy it, though. Like, that's good. It's not a bad game.
I still wait for the day where Cobb talks about a game.
I like plenty of games. I just talked about Judgment like 2 weeks ago and how good it was.
Nah, you hated it.
Also, I literally just said how much I love Celeste.
I don't believe you. I wasn't.
No, I think it's funny how you're... it's very funny that you just like, well, have you ever seen the game Celeste? It's like, yeah, that game's amazing. It's nothing like Hollow Knight.
Well, no, like, I wasn't saying have you seen it. It's more of I remember you saying you liked it, and I've never played it. And the first...
Yeah, you would hate every second of it.
It's way more like Super Meat Boy than anything else.
Like, the platforming that I saw on there made me think, like, this is very, like, Golden Palace platforming. Or not White Palace platforming and stuff. And timing, and that's like... I'm shocked that if you like that, you would probably, again, you need to get the abilities. You need to get the double jump and the dash. Really, that's when the game feels a little bit more comfortable and better, and it's easier to dodge out of things as well.
Yeah, I mean, I could tell that game was meant to be played with like at least a double jump, and I figured it was probably an early upgrade you got, but. By the time I got to the point where like I had the little blast thing, I had seen enough of the game and realized that I was not having fun. Like it honestly felt like more of a chore playing it than anything else.
Whatever.
Look, man, I told you I wouldn't like it. I know the sort of games I like, just like I know that you would hate like Celeste and Super Meat Boy.
Yeah, I think I tried Super Meat Boy once. I didn't hate it, but I only played it for like 20 minutes because I just wasn't feeling playing it. And that just happens. And I'm not even saying like I wasn't feeling it, like it didn't feel good or whatever. There's been times where I've opened up City Skylines, started playing in a city, and I don't want to play this, and then just exit out. Like, it's just sometimes I start playing and like, this isn't what I wanted. And
that happens to me plenty of times. Like I turned on my Switch the other day and like stared at all the games I have. I'm just like, I don't actually want to play any of these, and I ended up just turning the Switch off and watching TV because it's like, like. I want to play something, but I don't want to play this, so I'm just not gonna... I'm not gonna, like, bang my head and, like, force myself to play something that I'm not, like, feeling. But, do you want to talk about an Orcs Must Die? We have, like, 5 minutes to spare.
Yeah, we've only got a few minutes. Anyway, I finally, a few weeks back, we've been playing it on stream. Me and Timmy, we've been playing it co-op, because the whole game can be played co-op. But we've been playing through Orcs Must Die 3. Previously, we'd been playing through Orcs 2. 3 came out in September. We didn't start it till like December-ish, or maybe November. I feel
like you've been putting this on the outline for longer than just a month.
It's been about 2 months, probably. But like off and on, we didn't play as frequently on stream as we have in the past couple of weeks. So like we've been playing off and on. But we've made it through the entire storyline. We actually also purchased the DLC when we got the game. Or I purchased the DLC when we decided we were going to play it. I already had the game before he bought it. And that game, it's such a nice, fun, whimsical game of killing orcs because they must die. And it's like a fun strategy tower defense, but you're also like on the field and it's not just like RTS style, which is really cool. And they added in this one like big battles essentially. Where instead of it just being like, say, 100 orcs are coming at you during the course of the entire level, it's like 1,000 orcs are coming at you, and you get big weapons that you have to send them, and like our favorite things to use are launch pads that will send anything that's standing on them that's small or medium flying in the direction that they're facing, so you can send them into the water and kill them and stuff. But it's just, it's such, graphically, it looks so much better and cleaner than Orcs Must Die 2. I think it's been like at least 5 years between releases, so it makes sense. But they added some really cool, what's it called? Placements and stuff that you could put along the walls. Like, my most used thing is a dart trap that you place on the ceiling, and it'll pop down and shoot everything around it in, like, an area. And you can, like, speed up how frequently it reloads and keeps getting reused. I was also using, at the end of our playthrough, I had blade traps that the blades will bounce off the walls. And so you set them to launch in a certain direction, and when the enemy passes by them, they'll launch blades and just send them all over the place. They'll eventually explode. And my favorite thing to use overall, in the big battles mode only, they had these giant, like, spike balls that you place on the wall, and then you shoot them, and they'll send balls down into the enemies. So anytime we played a big battle that we had that, I would make sure to place a couple in our line, because the cool thing is you can strategize and place, barricades and stuff so that enemies' lines won't go in a certain direction, will come back in different areas and stuff. So I'll set up where we're having all the enemies go towards. I'll set them up, and like I'll go check an area, and I'll just say to Tim, "Yo, don't forget to play with my balls, and keep using my balls," and to remind him to turn around and shoot the balls that are on the wall to send them into the enemies.
Okay.
Yeah. But they also in Orcs Must Die 2, they also had a endless mode where you could just go pick a level and just play until you can't kill the orcs anymore and they go into your rift. Because the whole point of the game is orcs are coming to go into this rift to come into our world and destroy everything. And so you play in the world between worlds, between the orcs world and our world, keeping them from going through the rifts. And in the endless mode, you get, say, 100 rift points or whatever, and you have to defend the rift from any enemies coming to you for as long as you can. We dived into that a little bit in Orcs 2. We haven't really touched it in Orcs 3, but it's the same thing. You just endless waves. You set up your loadout at the beginning, and that's all you can use. Whatever the loadout is you set up for yourself at the beginning is all you can use. I've seen people go 50, 60, 70 rounds. It can be pretty intense. And the more rounds you go, the stronger the enemies get to. Where I've seen a playthrough where the enemies weren't taking any damage by anything. Because, like, it had just gone on that long and they had just gotten that strong. And then they also, the cool thing they added is this mode called Scramble Mode. And so you start off and you pick a debuff. So these enemies always show up, or this happens, or that like when you die, it costs 10 rift points instead of 0. Or your barricades have less health, or something like that. And you do a level in with that debuff. When you complete it, you get a buff. You can choose whichever one buff you can have. You then go to the next level, and your buffs stack on top of each. Your debuffs and buffs stack. So
it's kind of like that whatchamacallit game. What was that asynchronous zombie game from like 4 months ago? Fuck. The Red. No, not Red. Back for Blood. It had the card system, and they would stack on top of each other.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. So yeah, there would be like with Back for Blood, you have the cards that like increases the enemy's damage or whatever, and it's the same with this. Like there's a buff, there's a debuff you get every match, and then there's a buff you get when you complete the match. So it looks to be like there's only 5 levels or level types. So there's 4 buffs that you can get and 5 debuffs that you can get per match or whatever, or per whole loadout, and you can have it reshuffle every once in a while. You can have it clear out your scramble mode entirely. But it's cool. It makes a little bit more strategy because when we were last playing, our one of the main things we use are barricades to set up a pathing for the enemies to go through, like so that we can fight them just through one spot instead of all over the place. And one of our debuffs is to cut the barricades' health in half, which just really screws with you because if they get hit like once or twice, they're gone. And generally they won't get hit unless they have no other way to go, or if some exploding enemies come running by, their main goal is to explode by a barricade. Even if it's out of the way, they'll go to a barricade instead of following the path to the rift, because if they can destroy the barricade, that'll open up a new path to the rift. But yeah, it's a really neat, cool added mode. The DLC was fun. They had you fighting against Cyclopses instead of orcs mostly.
Well, that's just false advertising then.
I mean, it's like the frozen tundra or something like that. Like, you still fought orcs, but there was also Cyclopses as well. And like, as you progress through the level, it's not just through the game. It's not just orcs. There's ogres and trolls and gnolls and this and that and everything else. But these games, they're just so fun. They made a board game out of it. I've always wanted to get it, but it's expensive, and I haven't seen it at PAX since I saw it the first time.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I highly suggest anybody who likes like the strategy style gameplay or like tower defense style gameplay to look into Orcs Must Die. Like, all three of them are great games, but Orcs Must Die 3 really like blew it out the water. All the added weapons that you can get and all the different different placements that you can have, different traps. Like, I throw down a flower or two in every like choke point we have, which causes the enemies to get confused. So they'll turn around and run backwards or just stop in their footsteps. So it'll, like, every so often it'll just make all the enemies around it confused. Whereas, like, Tim, he'll focus on using, like, archers and damaging traps, and I'll focus on, like, stopping the enemies where they are and making them get hit multiple times with the traps that we have set up.
But so, is this a game that you're going to keep playing? Or since you finished through most of it, are you kind of done with it now?
We'll see. We will at least play probably next week. And we might continue on. We don't want to, like, lose steam with it. We don't want to be bored with it. So we're gonna definitely keep playing until we've had our fill, and then probably go back from time to time, because it does have the endless mode. It does have the scramble mode. But we are looking at, like, maybe going into Apex or Rainbow Six Extraction or something else. I've been texting back and forth, maybe Deep Rock Galactic. But we've been texting back and forth, or I've been texting him trying to be like, what about this game? What about that game? Because it's Teamwork Tuesdays. We got to teamwork together and play games.
I mean, I'll definitely get in if you play Apex for sure.
I've got for sure. I'll have to let you know. At minimum, we'd be doing duos, but of course, we'd definitely be doing trios if you were to join. And then my cousin, who's been streaming as well, has been wanting to play Apex with. So I've got a bunch of people who want to play Apex, and I've been honestly wanting to play Apex for a while. So we'll see what happens, but we don't really know what game we're going to play next. Our thing was Orcs Must Die for the longest time. It's been like 4 months. We were just playing Orcs Must Die together, and now we don't know what to play.
Which, at least there are always more games.
Yeah. I thought about trying to talk him into getting Monster Hunter.
That's
but he doesn't want to play Monster. At least I don't know if he wants to play Monster Hunter. I've never actually really talked to him.
Nobody wants to play Monster Hunter except for, like, you and the couple million other people that bought it.
I honestly,
nobody else.
Monster Hunter came out on PC 2 weeks ago. I don't want to play Monster Hunter.
Apparently, it looks amazing.
It does. I've seen things. It does look really good. I don't want to do that final boss again. I don't. Just, no. Fuck that whole, like, final boss sequence, as well as having to do the rampages, which had so much promise, but ended up being the worst fucking things in the world. Like, I don't want to do that again. So I've told them, like, I'm not getting it right now. I'm not going to pay full price for a game that I already paid full price for. I'm not getting it unless it goes on a good sale with the expansion, and then I'll get it on PC. Otherwise, I'm probably not even going to get the expansion.
Well, you're just a bad fan.
No, it's just, this game was not good. I've been on and listening to the guys play it while I was playing something else. We'll be on Discord chatting, and they're complaining the whole time. This is fucking stupid. That's fucking stupid. Well, yeah, it's Monster Hunter fucking Rise. It was a bad game. Why are you still playing it? Like, Well, it was a bad Monster Hunter.
I've been telling you Monster Hunter was bad for years.
No, this was a bad Monster Hunter. It was literally, like, nothing about it was good. And all he keeps saying is, I can't wait to go back to my heavy and light bow guns. It's like, dude, like, then why not just do that from the beginning? If that's all you want to use, just use it from the beginning. Well, it's very resource heavy, and you don't have the resources at the beginning. Well, then maybe get better at something else.
That's harsh.
It's the truth. It's either this thing sucks and I can't wait to use the other thing, or this thing's too resource heavy and I don't like using it too often. And it's like, well, it's honestly this Monster Hunter Rise you did not need to get for the PC. You didn't. And
you're not wrong.
Like, I probably won't get Sunbreak unless it's a really good sale.
Is that the name of the expansion?
That's the name of the expansion, which comes out in a few months. March or April, I believe. It might actually be holiday. I don't even remember. But, like, if it doesn't come out day and date on PC as well as Switch, then I'm definitely not getting it on release date. I won't get it until PC because I don't have anybody to play with it on the Switch. And if I do get it on PC, I'm gonna have to go through all the beginning shit again. I don't want to do that. So I might not get it.
Like, understandably.
Mm-hmm. It's like I put 100 hours into it. I'm not gonna say it's a bad game. I had a good time playing the parts that I played. But the final boss fight, I don't want to do again. The rampages, I don't want to do again. The whole rest of the game, I enjoy, but I have to do some of these other things. And I don't want to have to do those things again. And that's my only issue with it. If they made a cross-save feature where I could pull my save from my Switch over to the PC, I'd buy it. Buy it right away. But they're not going to do that because Capcom can't figure it out. Even though modders already did.
That sounds about right.
Modders already figured out how to do cross-saves and cross-play. Cross-saves. And I think they figured out how to do cross-play, but it breaks things if you try to do it.
Yeah,
and
I could imagine.
The best part about the whole release for Rise for PC was did you guys hear about what was going on with Final Fantasy VII PC release?
I was actually just going to bring this up when Cobb mentioned how the PC version of Rise apparently looks really good.
Yeah. So when 7 released on PC, and I believe continues because I don't think Square fixed it. At certain points, there seems to be frame rate drops.
Oh, are you talking about the remake?
Yeah, the remake, the Final Fantasy VII Remake.
I was going to talk about the actual PC version of Final Fantasy VII because something recently has come out with that. But go ahead. So
when the remake, a remake with Integrate came out on PC, there was streamers were having a fit about it, and gamers on the PC having a fit about it. This is a broken game because the frame rate drops. The frame rate will drop sometimes.
Now, when you're saying frame rate drops, are you saying like sub 30 or just not at a solid 60?
It'll go from whatever they have, 120 or 60, whatever their peak is, down to 40 for less than a second. Like a quick drop and then comes back. And maybe it'll happen like every couple of minutes, every 5-10 minutes. It's not like it lasts. It's not like it persists. But it drops and comes back. Drops and comes back sometimes. And this was like a few days after release. This is the worst PC port of all time. This game is broken and does not work.
None of them tried playing Arkham Knight on PC in 2015.
I tried to make that, like, bro, you're looking at this and saying it's the worst PC port of all time. Or it might not have been of all time. It might have been in a long time. And one of the guy's complaints about it, and one of his biggest complaints, I can't remember, and he kept saying, this game is several years old. Multiple years old. The game was less than a year and a half old at the point of PC release, because Final Fantasy VII released in 2020, Integrate released in 2021, and the PC release was November of 2021, December. It's like barely a year and some change old for this game. This is years and years old, and it shouldn't be running like this. No, this game is like a year old. It's not an old game. It's practically brand new.
And not only that, like, console games are not PC games. Like, they port it. The original studio doesn't even usually do the porting. And, like, it was not built to run on a, like, alright, theoretically, it was built to run on a PC, because they develop these things with PCs. But every PC that a consumer has is different. Even if you have the exact same components, your computer and my computer are going to be different just based on when the last time you ran Windows updates.
And here's the thing. I had to argue with them, like, bro, when Forza 5 came out, it wouldn't work on my PC, on Eric's PC, on Druten's PC at launch because my drivers were out of date. And it
worked on my Xbox like a fucking champ, though.
It would crash the game. I did not know that I had to go to the GeForce Experience website to download a third-party app to update my drivers. I thought I could just go into the Windows and update my drivers. When I did that, it said drivers were up to date. Does that make Forza Horizon 5 a bad game and a broken game because my drivers were not up to date because I didn't know I had to go download the GeForce Experience?
I mean, it is a broken-ass PC port, because that's not the only thing that was causing it to crash. Literally, like, go look at the list of apps that could cause it to crash if they are running on your PC while the game is running. It's almost every fucking app in existence. Like, literally Steam, Discord, Battle.net, like, fucking Chrome. Like, there were so many apps where it was like, we don't know why the game is crashing, but if this app is running, maybe it's that. And so, like, that's why I stopped playing it.
And, like, so, all this to talk about the fact that, like, people when it came to Final Fantasy VII, it's the worst. It's broken. It's, quote, broken. Because there's frame rate drops. Go look up these videos of the frame rate drops for the PC, and tell me how wrong I am about this. Because everyone says that I'm wrong, and it's broken. It's not. You can still play the game. Monster Hunter Rise, at launch, there was a chance that if you saved, would crash your game and your save would not work. There was also something underneath in the background that some people weren't able to save at all. So if you put 5 hours into Monster Hunter Rise, not being able to save, you just lost 5 hours. But that's not the worst that's not the worst port in the world.
PC gamers, not all of them, but there is a subset of PC gamers that are giant fucking babies.
But here's the thing, like, and I tried to argue in favor of Final Fantasy XIV. I said, give them a couple weeks. If it still not works, then go ahead and say it's bad. Don't say it's broken, because you can still play it. Go ahead and say it's bad. And their biggest argument is, well, modder fixed it day one. Okay, then download that fucking mod. Okay? Ooh, like, if somebody else fixed it, well, why didn't Square knew about this? Maybe they didn't. Maybe their systems were optimized. Well, this is PC Gamer, PC Mag, I don't know who it was. This is so-and-so. They have the best PCs. Well, maybe their PCs weren't optimized for Final Fantasy. And maybe Square's was. No, Square knew about this. No, fuck off. You just want to complain about a game that you think is stupid because you've never played it and you think it's lame. That's it. That's absolutely it.
I mean, like, you're right that, like, Square is building it in a bubble to, like, what Cobb said. So, they very well could not have run into these issues. I am seeing plenty of articles from places I definitely trust, Ars Technica, Eurogamer, those two especially, talking about how the frame rate gets really fucking bad. So, like, I don't think the people are entirely wrong, but it's definitely not the worst PC port ever. As Cobb said, Batman Arkham Knight was so bad it stopped being sold. I don't think it ever came back.
They at one point were complaining at the fact that there's no customization options for graphics. I can't turn this and that off or this and that off. And the thing that's causing the frame rate drops is this graphical input right here that I can't turn off. And a modder had to create a mod to make it so I could turn that off, and now it works fine. So Square knew about this. No.
Yeah, they know about every single possible configuration of PCs. Like, this is why I don't like PC games, because the people that play them are fucking babies.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, so many PC gamers are entitled little bitches about that stuff.
I have a really good fucking PC. Almost top of the line PC.
You have a mediocre PC at best.
and I wouldn't be mad if there were issues. Like, I would understand. It's likely my PC wasn't spec'd for a game that they're trying to play. Like,
well, and you at least understand that like making a game is hard.
Yeah,
every PC is different, and the game wasn't fucking made for PC. Like that's why it's coming out a year after the fucking console launch.
One of these guys tries to run a game development studio of his own, and they have not released anything.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. But let's move on.
So real quick, one other suggestion for your Play Together Tuesdays. Once it goes back on sale, Warhammer Vermintide.
Mm-hmm.
It's $30 right now, but is often on sale for like less than $10.
Okay.
It's like a fantasy Left 4 Dead. Probably best way to put it. I've definitely mentioned it before.
Yeah.
And then, so like I was saying, the original PC version of Final Fantasy VII, like that looks
like not the Steam version of it, like the original PC version.
Yeah, the one that came out. I mean, I guess this also might work on the Steam version, but Final Fantasy VII, not remake. Modders have just got it to. They've done a 60 frame per second mod, and it looks pretty amazing.
That's weird.
Because apparently that game is 15 frames per second.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Or at least the PC version was locked at 15 frames per second.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised, especially if it's the original piece, like the actual PC release, because the game you get, actually no, even the one that you get on Steam, so the Steam version, if I'm not mistaken, is just the fucking mobile port. All of the Final Fantasy games on Steam are just mobile versions that they ported back to PC, even though Final Fantasy VII had a fucking PC release in 1997.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't be surprised, actually, if the mobile release had like a really weird frame rate lock on it.
I don't know, but yeah, like I just saw this has been going around the last couple days, and I watched a clip from it, and I was like, whoa, that looks weirdly awesome.
Huh. That's interesting.
So yeah, look that up. It looks pretty cool.
There you go, Rich. Play Together Tuesdays. Play Final Fantasy VII.
That's a single-player game.
Guys, it's Teamwork Tuesdays. Alliteration. Come on now. Teamwork Tuesdays. And also,
no, I don't like it.
That's what it is. Teamwork Tuesdays.
No, it's Play Together Tuesdays.
No.
Play on a team Tuesdays.
Teamwork Tuesdays.
Maybe
totally team Tuesdays.
Look, yeah. If you want to do alliteration, just Together Tuesdays. Because like, what if it's not on the same team? What if it's not a co-op game?
I mean, it's not very likely we're gonna find a game like that, or that we're gonna play a game.
You don't know.
Because we're probably and Dritten was there for it. I'm thinking of doing occasional Fridays for family game night or Friday game night, family fun Friday fantastical game night. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But we're going to be doing some Among Us at some point and shit too.
Oh, is it the same people you were playing that with like a week or two ago?
Yeah. I was gonna do that on stream then, but decided not to, just to like I needed the day off of stream, so I just like I'm not gonna do it on stream. But everyone was down for doing it on stream, and they're like, this might actually help the channel and get a lot of people to watch and whatnot, and blah, blah, blah. So, you know what, I dig it. Let's do it. So, I haven't had a free Friday since then. So, once I have another free Friday, I'll probably plan on another Friday family fun, fantastical, friendly game night. I don't know.
You know, alliteration's not all it's cracked up to be.
I'm
just going to throw that out there.
I love alliteration. Metroidvania Mondays, Teamwork Tuesdays, Throwback Thursday retros.
That's not alliteration.
I know, but retro and Thursday doesn't have alliteration with anybody but anything but throwback. Okay, so it's Throwback Thursday with retro gaming. TT Throwback Thursday. That's the alliteration, but it's retro games. That's why I do retro games on Thursdays for Throwback Thursday. Literally, so when I do the hashtags on my Instagrams and Tweeters, I can do Throwback Thursday.
What's Wednesdays?
Wednesdays was I don't do Wednesdays anymore. But if I were to, it's going to be Weeaboo Wednesdays, and we're going to do super anime games.
Oh, so you're going to just start streaming Genshin Impact?
Possibly.
No, he's going to buy all the Hatsune Miku games.
I mean, there's a chance. No, like, Tales from Arise. Literally, Tales from Arise would be the first thing I'd play on.
That's not anime enough.
It's still anime enough.
No, you gotta get, what's that, oh no, that game went off sale, the Jump Force or whatever it was called, the fighting game with just all of the shonen characters.
And then there was that Aegis Defender or whatever. That game had like 17 different fucking names.
Oh, actually, before you actually just reminded me. Remember that there was that Switch mecha game, Daemon X Machina. Remember we both tried the demo for it, and I think you actually thought it seemed all right.
Yeah.
It's free on Epic Game Store right now.
Is it?
I think it's right now. If it's not right now, then it's like tomorrow.
I'll check once we're done.
It's tomorrow. Right now it's some game called Relict, something like that.
I have to remember to check the game night or the Epic Game Store every week. I always forget.
Yeah, it's January 27th to February 3rd. Daemon X Machina is going to be free. So
nice.
Keep that in mind.
The next mech game I'm going to get is definitely going to be Goth Armored Core. From Software is, I believe, it's been leaked or at least potentially announced. They're developing the next Armored Core.
Just a rumor. Nothing has been confirmed.
I don't.
Yep.
I don't care. Goth Armored Core. I'm all for it.
And like honestly, with Elden Ring, their next game, you probably won't. If that thing is actually in development, probably like a 2025 game.
That's fine.
At the earliest.
I actually didn't realize that From Software did Armored.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I never realized that until I saw those articles that they were like sending out questionnaires of would you want to play an Armored Core to like fans and like that. Yeah,
which I mean, Armored Core fans definitely want to play more Armored Core. Very different than what they've been doing for the last decade with the Souls games, but
oh yeah, absolutely.
That's their heritage. Speaking of heritage, how about some EA Star Wars bullshit?
What is this bullshit? I heard there's like rumor of like 3 Star Wars games. I don't know.
So EA revealed that they have 3 new Star Wars games in the works. Mm-hmm. All of them, in one way or another, being overseen by Respawn. So Respawn is Titanfall, Apex, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, like that group. So they're working on a sequel to Jedi Fallen Order, which is good. Like Jedi Fallen Order was good. They're also working on a first-person shooter that's being led by the co-creator of Medal of Honor, Peter Hirschman. So also, like, that's cool. Like, Respawn has a pedigree with first-person shooters. Like, a lot of those guys came from Call of Duty and Medal of Honor and stuff like that to form Respawn when they left Activision. And then the third game is a strategy game, apparently.
Sure,
why not? It just seems weird. It's being worked on by Bit Reactor, which is a team of a bunch of ex-Firaxis devs who worked on like XCOM as well as some other games over there. So Bit Reactor is making the strategy game, but I guess Respawn is overseeing it, co-developing it, something like that. Odds are that a lot of this has to do with the fact that Vincent Zampella basically became the EA like make sure our game doesn't suck guy.
Okay.
I forget what his actual title is, but he was basically promoted to like head of games at EA. Because Respawn is the only team that seems to be making non-sports games that don't suck over there. Because yeah, like all the other EA games that they've released in the last couple of years have been like mediocre, other than, you know, Apex and Jedi Fallen Order. So like, I think that's interesting, but like, that's 3 more Star Wars games coming out of EA. So that's going past their 10-year deal with Disney. But then we also have the KOTOR remake coming up. We have the Ubisoft Star Wars title that was announced, and the Quantic Dream title that was announced. Like, that's 6 fucking Star Wars games. That is too many games from a single IP, and 3 of them from a single, like, studio, publisher, whatever you want to say.
So,
like,
I don't think that's too many until we find out what they are. So KOTOR is something everyone's been wanting. Everyone's been asking for, like, some sort of remaster, remake for KOTOR. Like, I'm excited for that once they announce that. It's going to be great. Hopefully. Who knows? But it's going to be completely different from what it used to be. But hopefully they still stick with the RPG style. But, like, the way it's looking, all 6 of them are different kinds of games. We've got Fallen Order, which is probably maybe the closest thing to an RPG with it. It's a Soulsborne style. We got an FPS.
I mean, honestly, you know what? I will throw out there. I was saying earlier I don't like Metroidvanias. Fallen Order is very much like a Metroidvania, but I think I like the Star Wars side of it more than the actual gameplay.
Yeah. We've got an FPS, we've got a strategy game, and then the Quantic Dream game. Those are like they're the ones that do like Detroit and stuff like that, right? That's Quantic Dream?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with the exception of the Ubisoft title, we can say that 5 of these games are going to be different from each other. And when it comes to a strategy Star Wars game that's in the style of an XCOM, I think that's going to be great. An FPS style, as long as it's not, like, if it's, like, as long as there may be, like, original stories and not just you're on the Battle of Hoth again, like, then...
But, like, that's the problem. That's what it's going to fucking be.
You don't know that, though.
So, Jedi Fallen Order, I think, will be a continuation of that story, and it will lead into what we're more familiar with. Like, that's my feeling. Like, EA doesn't want to take chances, though. Like, their other 2 games, the first-person shooter and the strategy game, are going to be just based around the original trilogy. Maybe it goes across all 3 trilogies, but it's still going to be the movies that we know. Because that's what EA does. EA's afraid to... They literally made Battlefront twice, and it was almost exactly the same. And both of them were bad.
there is a chance that the new one could be Battlefront 3. There is a chance.
So Jeff Grubb did say that, and from GamesBeat, like, he tends to get an inside track on a lot of this stuff. None of these studios are working on a Battlefront as far as he knows, because Battlefront is generally a DICE game, and DICE is not making it.
Yeah.
So he did say that the first-person game is likely not a Battlefront. It's something different, but it's still... They're not going to take a chance and go into an unseen era. It's going to be full of Jedis, and it's just going to be uninspired. I think that the one that could be the most interesting is the rumor of the Quantic Dream game being a High Republic era game, because that's an era that they're exploring a lot in the comics and the books, but not in any other sort of multimedia. But the downside there is it's Quantic Dream, and those games are very hit or miss, and David Cage is kind of a shitty writer. So, like, depending on if it's full him or not, like, that game could be entertaining or it could be a big pile of garbage.
But, like, whether or not these games are bad, I don't think it's oversaturation of the IP. Because there's a chance that they're not all going to be the same game. There is a chance that Ubisoft could just be releasing another FPS, or maybe some sort of tower climb. Who knows?
It's going to be fucking Assassin's Creed with lightsabers. We
all
know that.
You know what? That's fine. Assassin's Creed a long, long time ago. That'll be the next game. Great.
That's all of them. All of the Assassin's Creeds are a long, long time ago.
But this one's a galaxy far, far away this time.
That's fair.
So
you caught me on that one.
How are you going to get the Seed of Eden to a galaxy far, far away?
Look, did you ever watch the episode of Parks and Rec where Patton Oswalt had to filibuster?
Yes.
He explained how all of this works.
Yeah, he does. You're right. I forgot about that. Because Thanos and the Infinity Gauntlet... Yeah, right.
Yeah, he brings Star Wars, he brings Marvel, the X... He brings everything fucking together.
Yeah. But yeah, I can understand the concern, but I guess I like to sit in an air of hopefulness, since I'm generally just surrounded by dismay anyway, and be like, well, maybe they're gonna do right for this. And maybe we'll finally start getting some good Star Wars games. Like, I've never played Fallen Order, but, like, I have the last good Star Wars game I played was Battlefront for the GameCube.
Yeah, so, like, there were good Star Wars games in, like, the 90s and early 2000s. Like, if this first-person shooter that Respawn's working on is more akin to, like the Jedi Knight series or the fucking Dark... What is that series called? God, why am I drawing a blank on this?
I don't know.
Either of you, like, anything? No?
I keep wanting to say Dark Messiah of Might and Magic, but that's obviously a different thing.
That's Might and Magic.
Yeah,
I was going to open up Steam, but then Steam isn't actually Star Wars Dark Forces?
Yes.
Yeah, there we go.
That was definitely a game. I don't know if that...
No,
okay.
So that was part of the Jedi Knight series. Those were the games that you play as Kyle Katarn, where in the first game, I don't think he had any force powers, or maybe near the end he gets them, but then, like, as those games go on, you become more and more of a force user. But in the first game, you are actually trying to get the plans for the original Death Star. So, like, obviously that canon has changed now.
Yeah.
With the Rogue One and everything. So perfect time to reintroduce those characters into new canon, the same way they did with Grand Admiral Thrawn, bringing him into Rebels and stuff. Like, they took a character that was popular in the EU and made them canon again. But, I don't know. I just wish that we were getting... And, I mean, it's a double-edged sword. Like, I would much rather see Respawn do more Titanfall or, like, a totally new IP than just be making 3 fucking Star Wars games.
Yeah.
And, like, what does this do to, like... So they have a team working on Apex, because obviously they're going to keep working on Apex.
Yeah, mm-hmm. They just released a new character for Apex.
Yeah. They have a team developing the new Fallen Order, and then they're also going to have a team doing this first-person shooter. Plus, whatever portion of their team is working with BitReactor to make this strategy game. And it's just... That just seems like a lot for one studio to deal with, and I feel like it's just going to cause problems in the development chain. Like, with, like, delays and people complaining about crunch and stuff like that, and I don't know. I would just much rather see them do something else than all of these Star Wars games. And that's coming from somebody, I like Star Wars. I just read the newest book. But
no,
like...
I can understand the hesitation. And I'm not gonna... And I can understand the fear of, like, one studio working on all this, but were we given release dates? Were we given time frames? These could be games that are...
They're working on all of them. So, like, they're 100% going to be staggered, because I guarantee they've been working on Fallen Order since shortly after the first one finished.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, still, like, they are working on all of them at the same time. And, like, that's just a lot. And to have 3 other titles coming from other studios over the next handful of years, that's just a lot of content for one IP. And, like, we've both complained about it in the past, you know? Star Wars has all sorts of places they could explore, and it's always the same 50 years worth of content, and you're constantly bumping into the same 24 characters, give or take. That's why, like, the KOTOR remake, that's awesome. That is 2,000 years prior to the original movies. Maybe more, maybe less, but it's far enough in the past that, like, even Yoda doesn't fucking exist yet. And, like, the Quantic Dream one potentially being High Republic, that's 200 years prior. So that's at least, you know, characters like Yoda and, like, aliens that live a long time could pop up, but you're not going to have, you know, there's no Skywalkers, there's no Obi-Wans, like, it's got to be original beyond that.
Yeah.
But everything else, it's just kind of like, yeah, no, I mean, you could be playing fucking Luke Skywalker in all of these. Who the fuck knows?
And that's, like, until we get more about it, like, and that's where I stand hopeful. Until I get told that all 3 of those games being developed by Respawn, in the Skywalker era, I'm gonna sit here and be like, alright, or revolve around the Skywalkers. They could be in the Skywalker era, but just not revolve around the Skywalkers. That is my thing, is I don't want, and like you just said, like, I don't want a Star Wars Skywalker story. I want just other stories. Like, it's a galaxy far, far away. There's not just Tatooine. It's not just Coruscant. Like, there's an entire fucking galaxy. Give me a side of the galaxy that doesn't even have any idea what's going on with this shit.
Yeah, and like Fallen Order, totally separate character. Like, it was a Jedi Padawan who escaped Order 66 and, like, went into hiding, which I feel like at this point, like, half of the extended universe Star Wars stuff that takes place post Episode 3, that's the fucking story.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Like, no Jedi Knights or Masters fucking got away, but all the fucking children did.
He obviously, Anakin sucks at killing kids.
I mean, at least defenseless kids.
Yeah.
But even in Fallen Order, you run into a lot of other established Star Wars characters. Like, you run into Darth Vader. You run into, Forrest Whitaker's character from, Rogue One. Like, while he's not a crazy prominent character, like, that stuff still happens. And, like...
Yeah. Like,
give me something just totally divorced from all of that.
And I would not be mad if, like, we do meet more of the Rogue One characters in any of these games. But, like, running into the Vader and shit, that's where, that's the line that I'm drawing. Like, running into the characters that we absolutely know. If one of these movies is a Lando Calrissian movie, or not movie, game, if the Quantic Dream game is all about Lando Calrissian, I'm all for that. Because that would make a good game. Lando being Lando.
Yeah,
and
that could be.
You playing as Lando Calrissian, a character that you really don't know much about, but he is a fan favorite, same as Boba Fett. Like, let's do that, because that's something different. Because although he has his interaction with Solo in the Solo movie, and he has his interactions in Episode 5 and Episode 9, like, you really don't know much about him. He's just, he runs the Cloud City. That's all you really knew for most of the Skywalker saga.
Yeah, at least from the movies.
Yeah.
But that and honestly, that's part of the reason why I'd rather them just go like separate era versus this, because even if you grab a character that is just interesting, that's from that time span, you're still in that time span. So like the sort of odds of them also shoving in, you know, a Luke or a Leia or a Han or any of that stuff and making that part of it, it's just like, okay, cool, we get it. He knows these people. But again, you know, it's a whole fucking galaxy. It's not like they're like it's not like it takes 5 minutes to like drive around the corner to run into these people. Like they're all fucking like generals and shit like that. They should be in different fronts of this goddamn war. But if you look at like the High Republic stuff, it's a very Jedi focused, but it's a different sort of focus. It's not Jedi versus Sith. It's like it's a different type of villain that has no power the way the Jedis do, but that keeps beating the Jedi. And I honestly think having that sort of like using what they're establishing back then would actually be way more interesting for a game, because like they're arguably better than the Jedi with a lot of this stuff, because the guy in charge is just outthinking them every fucking time. And it's at a period where it's called the High Republic period because the Republic is at its height. Like everything's going real good for the Republic, and the Jedi have gotten very just, you know, not egotistical, but like they think that they can't be touched, essentially.
Yeah.
But who knows? I mean, it's going to be a while before any of these games come out. I just wish we were getting more variety instead of just 6 games from the same IP.
I mean, look, yeah. I like I said, I can understand, and I'm hoping that we do get variety from these IPs, except for Ubisoft. It's just going to be you climbing the Death Star the entire time. I
mean, 100%. It's no, it's not even going to be the Death Star. It's going to be on Tatooine. You're going to be climbing fucking moisture towers or some stupid shit that don't even exist.
Yeah. Well, it's, what? I lost it. Never mind. I lost where I was going.
It'll be on, Kashyyyk. You'll be climbing the trees.
There you go, Kashyyyk climbing the trees. I remember at the beginning of episode 7 when she's scrapping for the Star Destroyer. You're going to be climbing Star Destroyers, scrapping them, and that's it. Yeah. No, I mean, look, that's Ubisoft, right? But yeah. Other than that, I managed to watch the first 3 episodes of Peacemaker. Oh yeah?
Yeah. That show's pretty good.
That's good.
Yeah. And Drew, I think even you might like just find it like enjoyable.
He was the most fun character in Justice League, or not Justice League, Suicide Squad, yeah.
Yeah, and like honestly, he is just as much fun in this.
I believe it.
Like John Cena is very funny. Like the dude definitely has comedic timing.
I mean, did you see he went on? I think it was Jimmy Fallon dressed as Peacemaker.
Did he?
Oh, he was doing from the time the movie came out through now all of his publicity stuff. He just does it in the suit.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's fantastic. But this being just him getting to be like kind of front and center and just be as like dumb and goofy as he wants, just it works. And they're walking a nice line so far of having him have a little bit more character than just like that pompous asshole from the Suicide Squad, but still being that pompous asshole from the Suicide Squad. It's very much walking this line of like you almost want to root for him, but he's not a good guy. But like his sidekick is a fucking bald eagle.
Yeah, as it should be.
Yeah, like he just has a fucking bald eagle that's like his best friend. And he has another like he basically has an admirer that's another like vigilante that just idolizes him, and it's just all sorts of stupid. And like we were talking before, Robert Patrick's in it, and he's great. He plays his dad. He is super fucking racist. He is actually an awful person. Like, and I think that's what makes Peacemaker a little bit more likable. Is like he's a bad guy, but he's not that kind of bad guy. Like he says all the time, he's like, I'll kill anybody if they break the law. I don't care what they look like. But it's it's an interesting take on this stuff, and it's got a plot, but the plot almost doesn't matter. It's really more just about, at least in the first 3 episodes, it's just about sort of him interacting with these other people that he's sort of forced to work with. Because this picks up like 5 months after the Suicide Squad movie. So like in that movie, I think it's in one of the credit scenes. He wakes up in like the hospital.
Yeah.
So like this picks up with him basically being discharged from the hospital.
Okay. And he's being a bad guy.
I mean, he's not a villain, but like he's not a good person necessarily. Evil either. Because like he is a vigilante. But he is very much in, like, the Punisher vein of vigilantes, where, like, he will kill people. But where the Punisher tends to kill, like, murderers and people that, like, while it's not justifiable, like, they are actually, like, the scum of the universe sort of things.
Yeah.
Peacemaker will kill anything if he thinks it's going to bring peace and justice. So, like, that's where it kind of, like, he kind of has that, like, fault to him. But he's also just stupid. Like, everything he does is just fucking... And not, like, stupid, like, unintelligent. Like, he just does stupid shit constantly. Like, he drives around in, like an old, like, Camaro or something like that that's fucking painted like the American flag.
Okay.
In one... I forget if it's the first episode or the second episode, but he basically gets put on a team of, It's a bunch of the people that were in the Suicide Squad, that worked at Argus that, like, like, how they knocked out Amanda Waller at the end and then helped Task Force X at the end with Starro.
Yeah.
So it's some of the people from that basically got demoted to having to work this shitty, like, op with Peacemaker for, like, what they did to Waller. And, like, their first meeting is at, like, this, like, chain Italian restaurant, and they're all in just, like, regular civilian clothes, and this motherfucker comes walking in his Peacemaker outfit. Helmet and everything, and like literally the people that he's with are just like staring at him coming in the door, just like, is this guy fucking for real? And like he sits down, and they're just like, why are you dressed like that? He's like, it's a new costume, I have to break it in. And yeah, it's just stupid shit like that.
This is what DC needs to grab onto, man. Like, they need to pay attention to this stuff.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, I saw a little while ago, it's apparently like the top viewed thing on HBO Max or something like that. So like it's, at least this is working, and hopefully it's like connecting with somebody at WB. But it helps too that it's James Gunn. Like that dude has the right sense of humor for this type of show. And so he wrote and directed, I think, all 8 episodes. And apparently he, from what I've read and heard a few other places talk about, he wrote this whole thing while he was on like lockdown for COVID because he was bored.
Yeah.
Like, they had to shut down filming for the Suicide Squad, I believe, so he just wrote an 8-episode series about Peacemaker because he thought John Cena was doing really well in the role and thought he had more acting chops than he normally got, like, the chance to display. But yeah, this is a very minor spoiler, but he has a conversation with somebody at one point where he basically tells them that he has a big dick and that it's too big and it hurts people. And he used to be called Baby Chimp Arm in middle school.
What?
Yeah. No, like that's the whole thing. I don't even remember how that conversation comes up. But that's a thing he says to somebody. And it wasn't like a brag. It was just like, oh, no, this is a problem.
That's great. I love it.
Yeah. Like, they've done... I'm looking forward to watching more of it. I'm actually bummed that it's a weekly release, but I'm also glad it's a weekly release. Because it's one of those... I definitely would have just watched it, like, constantly, but I can't. Like, I caught up, so I have to wait until the next one comes out.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Book of Boba Fett. I'm not going to talk about that, but I did watch that too, and I'm glad that is weekly because I can just take my fucking time with it.
The episode 3 weeks ago. It was weird, but for the most part, it's all been really good.
Yeah, it's enjoyable. It's very slow and plotty, which isn't a bad thing, but it's not like I don't want to binge that show in any way, shape, or form. Like, one episode at a time is more than enough.
Yeah, I feel like if I were to binge that show, I wouldn't enjoy it as much. Like, I watched 2 episodes today, because I forgot to watch last week's. And these were, like, the first 2 that felt well enough to, like, be like, alright, these can be watched back to me. But, it's mostly because of what they set up at the end of last week's and what they did for this week's just really worked all well.
Yeah, and like I think some of the I find the flashbacks more interesting than anything. Like that one episode that was just him living with the Sand People.
Yeah.
That was probably one of the most interesting episodes of like a Star Wars live action thing.
Yeah.
And I, as somebody that reads the comics and all, I was actually super excited to see them bring in Black Christian, or however you say his name, the Wookiee.
Yeah.
Because he's been in the comics for the last like 5 or 6 years, and you don't often get to see like basically a bad guy Wookiee, and that's super exciting. But that's not there. I figure we can talk about Book of Boba Fett once it wraps up, because I think it is also 8 episodes.
Yeah, it'll be wrapped.
It'll just be easier to talk about that whole thing at once rather than piecemealing it episode by episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, Peacemaker's very good, and I made both of you guys watch the intro because holy shit, is that a good intro?
That is a great intro.
And the faces are what make it. Like none of them smile, none of them make anything other than the most serious deadpan faces as they're doing all the goofy like jazz hands and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Man, honestly, I could just watch the intro over and over again.
I watched it once. That's. I mean, it loses its gusto after watching it. Like it's ridiculous, but then it's just like, all right, this is what it is.
It might. I have also only watched it as part of the show, so it's they usually have like a cold open, and then it goes into that, and usually the cold open is so drastically different than a fucking dance number that it's pretty jarring.
Yeah.
And you always get to that one quick like 2-second spot of Robert Patrick doing his little dance, and it's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just really, really great.
Yeah.
But that's all I have. Do either of you have anything else you want to talk about?
No. I think that's about it for me. I'll probably have a lot more to talk about next week with Legend of Vox Machina releasing their first 2 or 3 episodes on Friday.
I think it's the first 2, and
yeah.
Plus you have to buy Arceus.
Yeah, I'll figure out what I'm gonna buy throughout this weekend. And
you're buying both of them. We talked about this. You're saving $20 by buying both of them.
No, that's not how that works. But it's also I'm not buying either of them this weekend because I don't have the time to play them until at the earliest Monday.
Yeah, but just buy Arceus on Friday. This way you have it. It's a Switch game, so like you can just hang out and play it while you're watching TV.
I don't have time to do that.
You have plenty of time. No. Look, you say you're taking your mom to the grocery store. You don't have to go grocery shopping. Bring your Switch, play Arceus.
I'm going because I have to go grocery shopping as well. I wouldn't be bringing my mom to the grocery store if I didn't have to go. Well,
you're a bad son, aren't you?
I could be, yeah. But I'm literally playing D&D twice this weekend.
Yep.
And recording Brose on Saturday.
That's playing D&D too many times.
Nope.
And no, you played D&D last week. You know it's not too many times.
No, I mean one time in a month is plenty.
Nah. No. If Richie hadn't had the COVID scare and all going on, there was originally scheduled me to play D&D every day one weekend. Like, we were going to play with you on the 14th, and then with Eric on the 15th, and then record on the 16th.
Oh, are you guys starting that game with Eric back up finally?
Well, we had planned to, but then now it looks like maybe March.
Jesus.
I honestly don't remember saying that we were going to play on the 15th.
Oh, yeah, that 100% got, go look in that chat. It 100% got said. 15th? Yes, yeah. Like, maybe you didn't say yes, but me, Eric, and Vogel all did.
Yeah, I don't remember that at all.
That's just too much.
Because I was the 15th. There was something the 15th that like I don't know. Why did I not Outbreak Undead with? I don't know. Whatever. Because this is just other stuff. No, I think I did have something else going on or planned for the 15th. I just don't remember.
Did maybe you wind up making different plans after that got canceled because you were not going anywhere?
Maybe. Or maybe I just canceled all my plans because I was just like, fuck life.
Mm-hmm.
At the moment. Or at the time.
Yeah, who knows? But, you can 100% play Arceus while you're playing D&D.
No, do you really want me to record bonus action while playing Arceus and D&D?
No, you'll pay attention to bonus action. You'll play Arceus while you're playing your other game.
No,
You're boring.
No.
Live a little.
I do. I play 2 games of D&D in a week. It actually would have been 3 if one of the guys wasn't on a vacation with my weekly game. Well, no, because I would have Brose on Saturday. So, yeah, no, I've got a life. It's good.
Y'all play too many D&Ds. It's just too many.
I'll get in there, bro. I'm starting to get there.
Especially because you have a weekly one. At least, monthly ones, can be, you can strategically schedule those. But, weekly, it's oh, nope. There's always going to be a week where you're playing it. A second one that week also, probably.
Well, the weekly one started because we weren't playing much of Eric's at all during the pandemic, and I was invited into a weekly one. And I have told them, now that the world is starting to mostly open back up, that, I'm going to have to cut down my play, my availability for this weekly game. And they play Outbreak Undead now every other week. And so I was as much as I do want to try that game system, I'm I don't have it in me to learn a new game system and be in a weekly game. I need every other week.
Yeah, especially because at this point you're not counting a weekly game. You're a player into monthly-ish games and a DM into monthly-ish games. Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah,
that is a lot.
Which I have everything in my head that I want to do with both games, just not on paper, and get those on paper.
Yeah, you do that.
Yeah, you've only got 3 days before you have to have Sundays ready.
Sundays will definitely be ready for sure.
You've had 2 months. I don't know why it's not done already.
Because I procrastinate.
You're bad at this, man. Get good.
No, I mean, this is how I get good. I wait till the last minute, and then I come up with all my bright ideas. No, it's literally, I have the basis of most of the session on paper, but it's plotting out the potential other courses that you guys could go.
See, Drew, this is why the last session you guys were just on watch duty for a week, because Rich forgot to play in anything else.
No, that was always my plan, was to put you guys on watch duty. I just wanted dice rolls to be better. But no, I've got right now at this point it is opening up more to where you guys are you're going to have a choice of what to do and where to go when you get to where you're going. And I have to have all of the choices prepared in case depending on which one, if you do just one or all of them that you do.
Or just give them the illusion of choice.
No, that's not how I do things. That's called railroading, and I already feel bad enough that I did it to Sean. I don't like railroading.
If nobody knows, then it's not railroading.
No, you still know.
You know, but they don't know.
No, they'll still know. Even if they don't know, they'll still know. They'll eventually key into it that, wait, we weren't really... Why are we doing this? And I've had characters do that before. It's why are we here? This has nothing to do with any of my quest or original quests that we were going on. Why are we here? Oh, we were just railroaded to come here because the DM wanted us to come here. It's you'll figure it out at some point if you're being railroaded.
You just got to get better at railroading people then. You got to make them feel like it was their decision.
Getting better at railroading is you don't railroad.
I don't know. It's all right. The client I was at today, they're all super nerdy. They play board games and D&D and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I heard the one guy was talking to another one, and he was saying that he's doing some sort of horror game with everybody. And one of his players is on their 5th character because they keep dying.
Oh, jeez.
That's probably Outbreak Undead.
It might be. I forget what he said it was, but the person is just very caution to the wind. They just kind of go for everything.
Yeah.
And he's even sitting there, it's why don't you take your time and talk it over with everybody else? And the guy's no, I'm just gonna fucking punch them and let's see what happens. Yeah,
that is a very brutal and unforgiving system made primarily for roleplay and less for actual combat. There are combat rules and everything, but it is made more for roleplay, and all of your actions have a reaction or something that comes of it, and it's more about the roleplay and problem solving and less about just going and punching things.
That's fair. But I guess with that segue, we're probably done for the week.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
All right. Well, in that case, next week we are going to be doing our next book club, which will be the 2006 film Silent Hill. So that should be fun. Also, in case you guys were interested, Bowl came out of retirement. He's going to be making more movies.
Oh, no.
I also just found out today they made an Alone in the Dark 2. Well, he made an Alone in the Dark 2.
No. Why?
So we're definitely going to watch that at some point if I can find it. But yeah, next week, Silent Hill. But otherwise, if you would like to find more of our content, you can head over to www.one-quest.com. You can also help us out by supporting us at patreon.com/onequest. If you can't support us there with your dollars, though, you can go to your favorite podcast platform, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, etc. Rate us, review us, subscribe to us. Those things all help a whole bunch. You can also find us on social media, facebook.com/onequestonline or at @1_quest on Twitter and Instagram. Our YouTube channel is youtube.com/onequestvideo, and you can always send us an email to social@one-quest.com. And I think this past Monday, actually, the latest episode of Bonus Action went up, so you can go check that out as well. What was that, episode 7, Rich? Sound right?
Yes.
Yeah. Episode 7, episode 8 will not be this Friday, but next Friday. And actually, next Friday will also be session 3 will go up.
Mm-hmm.
So, all that fun stuff. But yeah, otherwise, we will be back next week with something else to talk about. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.